An evil empire known as the Mother World has taken control of the universe. Their leader, Boris, seized power after the royal family was murdered. Rebel groups are forming on different planets, so the empire is sending soldiers everywhere to crush them. Recently, Admiral Addis arrived on Veld and demanded the farmers hand over all their grain for his army. He promised to return for it in 10 weeks. Giving away all their harvest would leave the village with no food. Kora, a former Empire soldier, and her boyfriend Gunnar traveled around to gather a group of warriors to help them fight the soldiers. During their journey, they encountered Attakis at a trading post, leading to a battle where Kora defeated the Admiral. However, the Empire retrieves Attakis' body and uses a machine to heal him. Once recovered, Attakis seeks revenge. Meanwhile, Kora and Gunnar return to their village on Veld with their team of warriors. They are watched by Jimmy, a robot who once served the Empire, waiting for his moment. Former soldier Addis has also turned against the Empire. When his commander checks on the harvest progress, Addis pretends his team is working fine, though Kora actually eliminated them. Addis now stands with the village and informs them that the Empire will arrive in 5 days. General Titus gathers the villagers and the team to deliver an inspiring speech. He suggests using the grain as protection for their homes since it's crucial for the soldiers. This way, the Empire can attack the village without risking their own resources. Titus also announces that the warriors will train the villagers in military tactics to defend themselves. Later, Gunnar and Kora have a private meeting and share an intimate moment. Kora reveals she's a wanted criminal. She was adopted by Basiria and used to work for the Empire, even becoming the prince's bodyguard due to her exceptional skills as a soldier. One day, the king decided he was tired of constant warfare and opted for a more peaceful political approach. Boris, disliking this shift as it threatened his power, conspired with other lords to ambush the royal family during a meeting. While Basiria stabbed the king and queen, Kora followed her father's orders and eliminated the royal guards. When she aimed at the princess, who showed forgiveness in her eyes, Kora hesitated. Boris, sensing Kora's hesitation, provoked her to act, and Kora reluctantly obeyed, killing the princess. Instead of gratitude, Boris framed Kora for the entire royal family's murder, ordering soldiers to arrest her. Devastated by this betrayal, Kora broke free by shooting her teammates but couldn't bring herself to harm her own father. Instead, she fled, changed her identity, and sought refuge on a Veld farm masquerading as a regular war orphan. Returning to the present, Attakis is throwing a tantrum in the medical bay, frustrated with the doctor's refusal to release him. His impatience escalates, leading to him killing a doctor, finally securing his release to resume duty. Another soldier notices a scar on Attakis' chest left by the medical team, but decides not to heal it, seeing it as a reminder of his desire for revenge. Over the following 5 days, both villagers and warriors wake up early to tend to the harvest. Working together strengthens their bonds and improves their teamwork, essential for their training. They harvest the grain through various stages, from reaping to turning it into flour. During this time, Nemesis bonds with local children, aiding in her own healing after losing her own kids. General Titus avoids alcohol to prevent relapsing into his old addiction. Addis continues receiving calls from his commander, who finds it suspicious that the other soldiers never appear on the screen. Addis claims they're monitoring the harvest to prevent any deception, and he's stuck with phone duty due to being a newcomer. However, Attakis senses Addis's deceit after their last call and suspects Kora's involvement. As the harvest concludes, the village gathers for a celebration. Sam presents each warrior with a homemade banner adorned with an emblem representing their unique personalities. The celebration of the end of the harvest culminates in lively dancing and drinking. General Titus even treats everyone to a soothing, nostalgic song, echoing across the hills and reaching Jimmy. The following day marks the beginning of actual training. They start by relocating the grain from the barns to the village, strategically placing it around every house. Additionally, they dig a concealed trench across the fields, aiming to catch their enemies off guard. Addis presents the weapons left behind by his former team, while villagers scavenge for hunting rifles and knives. Kora and Titus instruct the locals in firearm usage, although some prefer blades due to their familiarity with farming. Others, like Sam, display natural talent with firearms. The ship Kora escaped in remains in the mountains, so the villagers collaborate to retrieve and repair it as a potential asset. After Addis tends to any issues the ship acquired during its abandonment, Kora test drives it, confirming its functionality. The night before the enemy's anticipated arrival, Titus suggests they share their motivations for opposing the Empire to strengthen their bond. He recounts his past as a general for the Empire, revealing how he refused to obey orders to attack a realm seeking independence. Despite his plea, his entire team was executed before him. Titus carries the weight of their deaths and vows never to surrender to the Empire again. Inspired by Titus's story, other warriors open up about their own pasts. Melis, hailing from a humble farm, recounts how her people chose not to fight and surrendered everything to the soldiers. As a result, they were taken to labor camps across the universe. Melis ended up in a mining operation until the resistance arrived, freeing the slaves and prompting her to join their cause. Nemesis reveals her origins in a small fishing village destroyed by the Empire. Witnessing her family's massacre, she sought revenge, uncovering hidden weapons from the village's past. Despite never having spilled blood before, Nemesis initiated her quest for vengeance by forging molten metal blades. This act was part of an ancient rite of passage, allowing her to replace her arms with mechanical gauntlets. When it's T's turn, he discloses his royal lineage as the prince of his planet. As each warrior shares their story, Titus turns to Kora for hers. She merely states she's a war orphan who also served as an Empire soldier. Titus senses something amiss but refrains from pressing further. The next morning, Kora boards her ship and flies to the mountains, where she crosses a waterfall to reach a cave and meet with Jimmy. They bond over their shared past as former Empire workers and their newfound purpose in protecting the innocent. Despite their resolve, Jimmy expresses doubts about their chances of winning the upcoming battle. Back in the village, the locals finish concealing bombs in the trench just as the enemy ships arrive. As everyone takes their positions, Atakis and his men use radar to assess the situation. They discover the grain field tactic, preventing them from opening fire. However, they notice the women and children being kept in the longhouse. Atakis decides to feign negotiation with Kora while sending his men to the longhouse. Several smaller enemy ships land on Veld, and Atakis meets with Kora. She proposes surrendering the grain to avoid bloodshed, but Atakis demands a larger reward. He threatens to attack the longhouse if Kora doesn't agree to go with him. In a bid to protect the locals, Kora agrees, bidding farewell to Gunnar, who refuses to lose her. Gunnar shoots the town bell, signaling the start of the battle. The fighters emerge from hiding, initiating the attack and causing chaos among the enemy ranks. Gunnar and Kora seize the opportunity to escape into the water, formulating an alternate plan. The explosion grants the villagers an advantage, and they swiftly engage the Empire's soldiers. Atakis, enraged, enters the trenches to disrupt their organization, while surviving soldiers attempt to flee in their ships, only to be thwarted by the villagers' bombs. Inside the longhouse, Nemesis battles the soldiers with her blades, aided by Addis and Sam with their firearms. Despite her remarkable skill, Nemesis finds herself overwhelmed by the relentless enemy forces. Meanwhile, Atakis leaves the trenches and heads for a ship near the longhouse. A villager attempts to assassinate him, but Atakis swiftly dispatches him and boards the ship. Simultaneously, Kora and Gunnar use a smoke bomb to disguise their ship as damaged, fooling the enemy into allowing them onto the main vessel, given its Empire origin. Disguised in Empire gear, Kora and Gunnar feign unconsciousness and are taken to the infirmary on the enemy's main vessel. Meanwhile, back in the village, Titus and Tar deliver powerful speeches to their teams, inspiring them to fight without fear. They launch a fierce attack on the enemy soldiers in the longhouse. Despite their valiant efforts, the odds begin to stack against them. Nemesis fights on, but her mechanical arm is severed and Sam's gun is destroyed. Addis intervenes to save Sam from certain death, but Nemesis finds herself overwhelmed. However, a brave child emerges from hiding and distracts the enemy, allowing Nemesis to strike back and eliminate the remaining foes. In the trenches, where many of their comrades have fallen, a villager activates the hidden bombs to inflict maximum damage on the enemy. However, the arrival of reinforcements complicates the situation for Tar and Titus's teams, who struggle to fend off the relentless assault. As the enemy deploys automatons that outmatch human reflexes, Milia sneaks through the smoke, eliminating several soldiers with her blade. She then targets the automatons' weak spots, disabling them and providing a crucial opening for the villagers. On the main vessel, Kora and Gunnar seize the opportunity to take out the surrounding soldiers, sharing a kiss before splitting up to plant bombs in different corridors. Despite their disguises, they soon draw the attention of a soldier who discovers Kora in the power core room. Kora reacts swiftly, shooting the soldier and descending to the lower floor to continue her relentless fight against any guards in her path. However, her actions alert the soldiers, and Atakis sees this as an opportunity, considering Kora technically captured and his key to success. He orders his men to open fire on the village, disregarding the potential losses. As the villagers face increasing despair, Jimmy unexpectedly appears on the battlefield, moving with remarkable speed. He eliminates several enemies and infiltrates the arriving automaton, destroying it and revitalizing the villagers' morale. Meanwhile, aboard the vessel, Gunnar awaits Kora's escape, but she finds herself constantly engaged in combat. Eventually, she confronts Atakis just as the bombs detonate, causing chaos aboard the vessel. The explosion disrupts the enemy's plans, causing their cannons to miss their intended target and strike the hills instead of the village. As the vessel begins to descend, Gunnar enters, attempting to reveal Attakis' treachery, only to be shot. A fierce sword fight ensues between Attakis and Kora, with the vessel's descent adding to the intensity. In a climactic struggle, Kora manages to kick Attakis off, but he clings on and resumes his attack. As they grapple, Gunnar intervenes, stabbing Attakis and turning the tide of the battle. In the final showdown, Kora manages to push Attakis off, capturing him in a closing door and ultimately decapitating him. She and Gunnar hurriedly return to her old ship, narrowly escaping as the vessel crashes onto the planet in a massive explosion. Despite Kora's rough landing, she rushes to Gunnar's aid, but it's too late, and he passes away in her arms. At that moment, the Resistance arrives with their ships, turning the tide of the battle and helping the villagers secure victory. As the dust settles, everyone gathers to bid farewell to Gunnar, Nemesis, and all the fallen villagers. They honor their memory by burning their banners alongside their bodies. Feeling the weight of her past, Kora finally shares her backstory with everyone. However, Titus reveals a shocking secret. The princess isn't actually dead. She possesses great power. Determined to continue the fight against the Empire and free other planets, Kora resolves to find the princess. With the support of the remaining warriors, including Jimmy, they pledge to join her in this quest for justice and liberation. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this.